Oops. Better. Good evening. Let's go down a little bit. Is it? No. Oops. Good evening. I'm sat down now. It's a little bit tiring. I'm a bit too old to do 2 hours stood up constant. Good evening. Welcome to Craft Cave Live. Hello. Hello again, Chris, Julie, Yvonne. Who else have we got? Dawn, our lovely Dawn Kettleborough, Susan Carr, and the wonderful Janet McRae, and Oreo. Never forget Oreo. She's got a lovely cat called Oreo. So, good evening. Oh, Vivian. Nice name. And have we got people? We have, yes. Looks like YouTube is working as well, which is good. Oh, I do need to tidy up the back, don't I? That is a bit of a mess. So, our lovely, our Brenda's back again, and Susan. Hello, Anna. What else have we got? Oh, Black Beauty. Is that what I was whistling? I was whistling something. I realised I was whistling. Howdy doodly do, says our Anne Mountjoy and our Zena. Michael, how many things can you do with an embossing folder? 37, Michael. Sorry. 37 things. That's it. Only 37 things. There are loads of things you can do with an embossing folder. In fact, I did ask for questions tonight of things that we could do. And so I think probably what I will do is I will finish off what I was doing in the previous hour. So if you missed out, Susan's watching on YouTube as well. If you missed out on the last hour, we have restarted our midweek deals from the Art of Craft and Crafts 2, which are exclusive, half price or less. Some of them were crazy prices. The stamps were silly price. On Wednesday nights at 6 over on the Art of Craft. So if you're joining me now for Craft Cave Live, hello, and you're more than welcome. But you did miss out on an hour before. But this, obviously, Craft Cave is all about demonstrations and showing you how to do things, rather than it's not about selling and stuff. So I did say I would show you finish off the technique that I didn't do, that I didn't finish off earlier. But Michael's just asked an interesting point: is what things can you do with an embossing folder? And as I said, there's only 37. No, there's hundreds of things you can do with an embossing folder. You really can. You can go absolutely crazy with one. But I will show you again what I did. I'll show you a couple of different ways to put some sort of glitter and foil on an embossing folder. So if you've got any questions, please ask them, as I have nothing prepped for tonight. It just seems to have completely slipped through my fingers. And so I've got nothing, no set piece prepped to demonstrate. So I need your questions to be able to answer them. So I'm going to start with our Michaels, who asked, what can you do with an embossing folder? So I'm going to take a 3D embossing folder. I'm going to take my retro baubles. You'll see my desk is a mess, because obviously I've been doing a previous one. So let's have a look. Right, so what I'm going to do is, this is something I did the other night. So Jackie Jones, what's the best weight type of card for 3D embossing folders? Mine cracked and tore slightly. Right, Jackie, there's usually I think you asked this, didn't you? You wanted to know this one on Sunday, and I said ask tonight. Right. A lot of the time, a lot of companies, a lot of people will sell you card, and they'll sell you card on GSM, which means grams per square metre, which is basically the weight of it. Now, it isn't, to be fair, a really good example of what... it's not a really good measure of quality of card. It's what we've all done and we've used it for years, but it's not a very good measure for the quality of card. Sometimes it's actually about the quality, not the weight of it. So what I tend to use is, I only tend to use now our Essential card and our Canvas card. They're both between 220 and about 250, 260. But they are short fibre card. And what that means is it's very dense card. And it just means that it doesn't crack. So I'm just going to do a simple piece and emboss it. Now, the reason that your card will crack is if you're using a super smooth card. Because what that is I know that a lot of companies, I know, is it Pink? I can't remember, go on about super smooth card. That's a that's a damn good stamping card. Yeah. But the reason it's smooth and the reason the card is super smooth is because what happens is it goes through hot rollers. So it goes through hot rollers and it's pressed. So basically all of the squidge in it has gone. So when you emboss a piece like that, in fact, I mean, I've got some here, so we'll do a comparison. This is Lime Tree, because that's where I get my quality sort of smooth stamping card from. I mean, I know there's lots of other places, it's just that's where I get mine from. So this is on, can you see? So this is on, and all I've done is base plate, 3D folder, 5mm plate. Yeah. Okay. And all I've done, let's try forward because it'll help this. It's a lot better. Can you see there? This is on our 250 GSM coconut white card. So can you see? No cracking or anything. I'm now going to do it with a piece of smooth card and hoping it will crack. And of course, knowing my luck, it probably won't. But it is about the quality of the card more than anything. Whoa, that did not want to go through. Oh, I got it hanging out a bit, so I've notched my folder. Doesn't matter. See, told you. If you're watching our Jan, look, I've just done it. I've just done exactly what you emailed me about. Good day, Nicola. You're supposed to be asleep. No, it hasn't. But that should have cracked because it was a pressed card, but it hasn't cracked. I'm really sorry. But I hope you're having... We were talking about you earlier, Nicola. Where was it? Where was the question? Who asked? Because I've forgotten. Yeah, everyone's tummy's rumbling. No, sorry. Oh, Anne says we haven't mentioned food yet. That's why. I'm just going back. Oh. Where are we? Sorry. So yeah, I know a lady who was it that asked? Please, if you were the lady who asked, please say again. Right. So yeah, I think it's more to do with the quality. The other option and the other thing that will affect it is if your sandwich is too tight. It depends on the machine you're using, but I know for a fact a lot of people, the Gemini tends to be very, very tight, and a lot of people have struggled with 3D embossing folders through that. So that's why I always use a manual, and I always use my A5 manual Kaleido, because it's easier. Jacqueline said, I read you can spritz the card with water slightly. You can, and that helps just plump those fibres up a little bit. So if your card is particularly fibrous, and it's very hard to say a bit crap because I don't mean it that way, but it is what you sometimes mean. If you actually spritz it with water, it will help. All of these sprays that you can buy are just water with other things added to make them thing. So the best thing to do is to just add water. But I find, oh, Zena's tummy's full. She's had homemade meatball and tomato sauce. I've got a homemade chicken and cauliflower curry when I finish here. I made it earlier. It's just got to have 20 minutes with some lime and some mango in it. Right, so yes, thank you, Miriam. I had a lovely birthday, thank you. Jackie, yeah, it was you, Jackie. Yeah, I was using super smooth card type. Yeah, it depends, but yeah, you can always soften it, but you want something that's a little bit more fibrous. But if I can just show you the difference on here, on the overhead, I've got so much of a better emboss on the essential card than I've got on the super smooth, even though that is thicker. That's 300. That's only 250. They both feel very thick because it's about the fibres. So that's your best one to do. Leslie says on her Gemini, she uses 2 3mm plates. So that's the best one. So is your Sunday launch still on Christmas? It is, Deborah. Yes. There's only 2 more Christmases and then that's it. Christmas is done, I think. I can't remember. My brain is not working very well. So Michael said, show me something, or he wants to know what you can do with an embossing folder. So I thought what I'll do is I will show you the technique I showed you the other day that I nicked. Somebody had done it with something different on Facebook, but I thought, I'm sure it works. It would work with what I'm doing. So I'm cutting a piece a bit smaller because my foil is small. Jacqueline's got a sausage casserole. Just waiting for a daughter to return from the gym. Ooh. I could make that. I saw a great recipe on Facebook for sausage pie the other day. So I could make a sausage pie with like a mashed potato topping and onion gravy. Ooh, I might try that tomorrow. So I'm just using, now the foil I'm using is not our Kaleido foil. Our Kaleido foil doesn't have a glue on it because it's a chemical activated. This is the foil that you get with your Spellbinders or your Couture Creation or your Crafter's Companion foiling machines. You know, the ones that you heat them up first. It's the same foil, but because the way they work is the heat, basically, there's a glue on the back of here. That's the way it works. There's glue on the back. And the heat activates the glue. Now you can trick the glue into activating a little bit with tension. So all I'm doing is putting the foil on top, face down onto my coconut white card. Yeah. Oh, James just had stew and dumplings. I love stew and dumplings. I can never seem to make them right though. But what will happen is this will actually emboss, but it will transfer. The pressure will make some of the glue stick and you'll get a really good impression. Oh, thank you, Andrea. That's very kind of you. So we're just turn that. So all I've done is embossed it. Oh, you see? And it's not stuck anywhere near as good as it did to the other one. So I'm going to put it down. I'm going to add a shim and add a bit more pressure. But when I use the snowflake, it really works. So maybe it only works on certain folders, but it's interesting to know. Oh, I've got that back, Nicola. It works for me now. So what we're doing here, let's have a look. So it has transferred more. So when I did it with the snowflake, it transferred a lot more foil. So you probably need a lot tighter folder. But of course, what we can do is we can do a different technique with this. Oh, Julie's being naughty. She's stuffing a chip butty. Stuffing, does that mean you're eating one? So I'm going to take the flat area, yeah. My mum used to do stuffy rabbit in with it in wee. It was lovely. Unfortunately, we never got the recipe from her. So all I'm going to do is ink the flat side of my folder with my clear embossing ink. Yeah, so we're just going through. Nicola, what time is it in Australia at the moment? And Leslie, you need to tell us what stuffy rabbit is. Because I'm lost on that one. So all I'm going to do is, again, take a piece of coconut white card. Oh, bless. Nicola says good day to anyone who said hi. She can't keep up with the chat, bless her. So all I'm going to do is place that down. It's 5 by 5 to give me a little bit of room. So I'm going to place that down onto the embossed surface. Oh, Denise has got posh. She's got fish finger sandwiches. Very nice. Jane Eames has had breaded pork loin chops, mashed tinned peas, and lots of thick gravy. Ooh, nice. You know, I haven't had tinned peas in years. I do love a tinned pea. And tinned carrots. When I was a kid, those were the only carrots I would eat. So what we've done now is hopefully transferred the ink over. But how things have gone so far tonight, we'll just have to see. So have you got, well, I'm nearly run out on this one, guys, so I'm going to need another question. So I'm just using a glitter embossing powder. This is an Eyes Ink one. Brilliant powders, to be honest. They're the only ones I've ever really got on well with. I know some people like others. I don't know why. These are the only ones that ever seem to work for me. There we go. But there, look. So all I've done is just gently flattened. So I gently patted. It was rabbit in gravy with bread and onions and potatoes and cooked in the oven. Ooh. I mean, I'm not a rabbit fan, but that does sound quite nice, actually. So again, I'm going to heat set this, but remember, always heat your heat gun first. Get it nice and hot. But this is one of the things that's so easy with a 3D folder. But not as, you don't get as much effect with a normal one. So there we go. Oh, Maureen had frankfurters with scrambled egg, tinned tomatoes and peas pudding. Peas pudding, that's something else I haven't had in years. And then Nicola, Leslie said the fusion inks over the top then with the black ink. Yeah, I love that technique. You're amazed how many people since I did that have redone it and claimed it. So just heat setting it. Can you show us how to emboss a die cut, says Denise. Right, in terms of what, Denise? You mean to emboss with the die or to use embossing powder with it? Oh, no, you don't have to say please, Denise. That's fine, bless her. So, yeah, just let me know which way you mean. But there, look, that looks fab. I think that really does look fab. But what I would say is the one thing that most people then struggle on. Oh, I've not set it everywhere. Let's just put a little bit more on. I've wiped some off. I've not fully set it, so I want to do that one. Was showing my brother some of your previous lives. My craft obsession, found some bargain craft products, but not many. A lot dearer over here. Oh, grandson loved his crafty day. Oh, brilliant. There we go. Just replace that little corner. Just want to get that because I want to show you how do you turn that into a card with a die, if that's okay? Of course it is. Peas pudding hot, peas pudding cold, peas pudding in the pot 9 days old. Peas pudding, to my understanding, is basically, it's like mushy peas with butter, cooked down until it's almost like a solid bar. Literally cooked down until it's virtually solid. But you can get it tinned as well. Because of the slicing, you can fry it. Right, so once I've got my piece done, what I tend to do, if I want to make that into a card, is I'll measure it. It's 5 by 5. I'll take another piece of white and I'll do and add 1/4 of an inch on. So I'll do 5 1/4, 5 1/4 to give it a base. Yeah, I'll then take a piece of matching card, so glitter card or mirror card or whatever, and I'll cut that to 5 1/4 and 1/8. So I'll add an 1/8 on to the last measurement. So 5 1/4 and 1/8. There we go. And then I'm going to glue this onto here. Oh, Maureen says chickpeas all mashed together and get it in tins. I always thought it was mushy peas, but I bet it probably is chickpeas. Probably different in different bits of the country, I think. I'm going to need to get a new desk at some point. I've literally wrecked the base of this. Literally, look, oh, you can't see, it's broken. So I'm just going to put that on to give me a fine border. Yeah. And then I'm going to grab or make a 6 by 6 card blank. So let's just make one for speed. So I'm just off camera making a quick 6 by 6 card blank. Sorry, guys. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to take... It does look like a traditional crafter's desk, this, doesn't it? You can see all of the mess. It's literally... This is what it's like when I'm crafting. So I'm just going to place that onto the middle and give myself a nice even border all the way around. And then our embossed panel that I've done the technique on just fits in the centre. And I use... How do you get embossing powder off the mat, please? To be honest with you, Jenny, Dave and Jenny, isn't it? What you do is I'll show you in a second. I use hand sanitizer, which is the only decent thing to come out of COVID to clean my mat down. If that doesn't work, because there's really fine elements of mica, then to be honest, it goes into the kitchen, into the sink, and it gets cleaned with hot water and fairy liquid in the sink. So that's the other way I do it. So here we go. And then, what was it? How Deborah wanted to know. There we go. So there is how I would do a background, or just make it that one. Question, is it not best to take the middle out of mirror card? I do sometimes, and sometimes I don't. People do that to save the mirror card. So when I'm getting really short at the end of a pack, I will do that. But I don't cut it out. I don't gut it. I will die cut it. And that's what I will do. So I would normally die cut something out of the middle. But when I'm demoing, when we're demonstrating, to be fair, we don't do, sometimes we shortcut. We don't do what we would do at home, if that makes sense. We're quite good at that. We just do the quickest way. So, and I've forgotten, I'm really sorry whoever asked, because I feel really bad, because I've forgotten your name. Was it Deborah or someone? Where's that gone now? Come on, you had that earlier. Is it in there? You asked about embossing a die, so I'm going to show you that. I don't do this very often, so I want to put an embossed die cut. So I want to emboss. I really want this to curl. There's not a lot for it to emboss, but it will do. So what I'm going to do is you put it down and you die cut your shape first. So what I would have done is die cut this out of the middle and then put it together. So I'm going to die cut this first. Have we had any other questions? Because I've not had any other comments come through. Let's have a look, see if I'm missing something. Oh dear, it does that. Yeah, I see what you mean, Nicola. It's done it to me now. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I've missed a load of questions. When is the next Zoom workshop, please? It's in November. I can't remember the date, but it's in November. So if you want to emboss a die, so you want to cut it first, and you want to leave it in place, which is what can be the hardest. This is one of the reasons why I don't do this, because half the time they want to come out. So you have to make sure it's still in place. Yeah. Then you change your sandwich to using your embossing mat. So I'm not going to pretend, because that it's one of my favourite. It's not one of my things to do. I don't feel it's as necessary. Yeah. But I will show you with one of this Find It dies. It will look beautiful with that. So what you do is then you're going down onto the, I'm using our Crafts 2 heat mat. It's sort of like a silicon mat that was designed for your heat guns, but it works perfectly through the machine. It goes through my Gemini with a 5mm and a 3mm plate perfectly. So that's how you would emboss a die. It's always a two-step process. You can't do it in one step. But what it does is it does curl. You see, it's made them. This is why I'm not a fan, because it obviously wasn't in the right place, so I have to start it again. I don't like the fuss of me. Sorry. So what I'm going to do is just, so again, I'm going to need to cut that. Let's try taping it down a little bit more. You can't let it move. It must stay in place, but it has to cut first. So where's the plate? Here we go. No. You have to leave the piece in. It has to stay in to work. and it's very, very hard on smaller pieces to get, or it's very, very hard to get them to stay in place. As I say, it's not something I'm a fan of. But then, yeah, down. I'm going to take this down to make sure it doesn't move. And I'm going to put a top plate on. And then again, I'm going to run that through and hopefully it works. It can give you a beautiful look. I'm just thinking I prefer to quilt dies, and I find that gives me a better look with the embossing mat than just embossing them. So here we go. Yay, it's not moved this time. So when I take that out, can you see? There we go. It does give you a beautiful look. I can't argue that one that it doesn't. It really does. Because what it does is it curls it even more. So can you see that C's got that real curl to it? It gives it a real sort of 3D curl look. So that's how you emboss a die. What's this one saying? And I can remember embossing my dies cuts years ago when I first started crafting. They did make the dies look good. They did. Dies have moved on so much now so that they're so fine. When I first started designing dies, that wasn't allowed. That literally wasn't allowed. You had to have 3mm. Doesn't sound a lot, but it's really wide between pieces. So one of the ways to actually get them to look more delicate was to have a double layer with them embossed, which is why we did it that way. So, but you can see there, you get such a shine from it. But again, that is sort of beautiful. Yeah. Oh, Debbie, missing us, but she's in Boston. Oh, very nice. One of the places in America I've always wanted to go to, Boston. So I'm going to just cut this one with the base. To show you there. Now, I'm not a fan of leaving things floating. So what I'm going to do is we're going to add this on. So I'm going to spray glue it. I'm going to add this onto the base. And yet, to sort of match what you were saying, Dave and Jenny, I would have cut the Merry Christmas out of this layer that I've put in there. But again, I don't want it to float, so I'm just going to grab a scrap. But look what happens when I just take a scrap of vellum and I wrap that around. It just makes more sense. So it just makes it float that little bit. So all I'm going to do is take a little bit of foam tape. And I'm going to go onto the middle there. I'm going to stick it on with a little bit of double-sided foam there. And then I'm going to pop that onto there and just literally wrap it round to the inside, turn it over and just tape it down. Yay, our Nicola's, that's our Nicola. Our Leslie's off to Dubai next week. Right, so guys, I am going to finish there because I'm feeling it a little bit of doing 2 hours. So I've not been well, as people know, so I'm not 100% still. So I'm going to stop it there if everyone doesn't mind. But that's what we've come up with based on the questions that we've had. So I don't think that's too bad. I will be back on Sunday night at 6 o'clock with a new launch. And there's only two dies in that one, so don't worry. And if not, I will be back next Wednesday with midweek deals at 6. But I am going to sign off for now, guys, because I've not really got anything else prepped, and I'm feeling it a bit. But thank you for joining me tonight. Sorry it's been shorter than normal. We will be back to a full hour next week, I promise.